Voters in Livingston will be asked on Tuesday, March 12th, to decide financing to build new classrooms and learning resource centers in the elementary schools. Livingston Public Schools for decades have performed among the very best. Achievement on test scores is at an all-time high. Many teachers have advanced degrees and a love of what they do. When the bell rings, students are ready to learn, and their parents support both their children and the schools. But there is concern over housing developments proposed in Livingston that will be built without considering school availability. And right now, Livingston Public Schools are full. Livingston Public Schools is strongly urging voters to come out and learn more about a referendum that would earmark the money for construction beginning in 2014. The cost is just 24 cents a day, pennies to secure a better future for Livingston Public Schools. Dr. Brad Drager is the school superintendent. He'll be retiring at the end of this school year. Before he goes, he is sounding his deep concern that new students will squeeze the elementary schools in the foreseeable future unless Livingston acts now. He's been asked repeatedly why he's going for a referendum in his final months in Livingston.
It's a great question because I can't walk away from something that needs to be done. Livingston has a history of always doing the right thing at the right time for its schools. It's one of the reasons Livingston has 50 years of incredible success with education. I think Livingston finds itself right now at the juxtaposition. This is a tough decision. We're still in tough economic times, but interest rates are low. And we really do see the need that if you want Livingston Public Schools to maintain their quality, they need some breathing space for new elementary students coming in and for special education students returning to district. In grades K through 2, 34% or 1/3 of all classrooms right now are at or above the guidelines set by the Board of Education. You can't operate these schools at 100% capacity and pretend it's the best elementary education. In fact, the State Department of Education recommends that elementary schools be at 90% capacity. I don't see any relief in the near future, and I mean 3 to 5 years, unless some action is taken right now.
With a total price tag of $18.2 million, Livingston would gain 14 new classrooms and 3 learning resource centers at a time when the district is able to take advantage of low interest rates on the financing. The tax impact on the average Livingston household would be $87 per year, or looking at it in smaller pieces, $7.25 a month, and in pennies, 24 cents a day. Increasingly, more students with special needs are also learning in our classrooms, rather than costly out-of-district schools, and those numbers and the costs will continue to grow as space allows.
My name is Mary. I'm a 5th grade at Hillside Elementary School, and I'm in my 5th grade. Some of my favorite classes are science and grammar.
Mary McNanny is among the students with special needs educated by Livingston Public Schools. Her parents like that she goes to school with her brothers and her friends, and Mary has a lot of friends. She plays in a band called the Jersey Girls, was elected to student council, sings in the school chorus, is on safety patrol, and makes morning announcements. She knows the first and last name of just about every person at school, prompting her brothers to ask, "Why does everyone say hi to Mary?" The mother continues to say, "We know that each child has to be considered individually, placed in the least restrictive environment, and that one size does not fit all. Our experience is that our family has been given the opportunity to find Mary's best fit." But Mary's experience isn't the norm.
New Jersey is the 50th state in the nation for sending the most students out of district for special education placement. And Livingston is at the high end of that statistic. We send out 130 special education students to private and public settings. But our neighbor, Milburn, with the same size student body, for instance, sends out about 50 of those students. We've made some inroads recently in bringing special education students back to our district, but not as many as we would like because of space constraints. Having watched this for 7 years as the superintendent, out-of-district placements is not the best way to educate our Livingston students. Our staff, with our children in our schools, is a much stronger educational model. And I can say very strongly now, we can do a better job.
In general, the philosophy is that the more that we can educate our town children here in town, the more likely they are to make friendships and to bring their special gifts to our community as a school, and for our communities to share back with the children who have special needs. I found that the 3 programs we currently have, which have been here for years and years and years, have only added to the experience of all of the children.
The proposed construction would have little or no impact at the schools. Because they are additions, students will remain in their classrooms and will not need to attend school in learning cottages. This work is much different than the construction that happened during the summer of 2010 and into the start of that school year in the fall. Altogether, the elementary school construction will cost $15.1 million. Another $3 million is earmarked to bring Livingston High School into ADA compliance. This project would renovate 3 learning resource centers at Harrison, Riker Hill, and Collins, bringing those hubs of learning on par with the newer centers at Livingston's other elementary schools. Aging learning resource centers at those schools will be converted into classroom space.
Right now, I have computers on carts that the children use, and it can bring some problems with it when the computers have to travel from room to room rather than going to one designated area. The library has some computers in it, but not enough for a whole classroom, and we really feel that the children in today's day and age need to have access to this equipment all of the time.
Colleen Caulfield is the school's media specialist. A few years back, we would have called her the school's librarian, but her role has evolved as technology has advanced.
The library is certainly a wonderful place to come and read and enrich your life with literature, but it's also an exciting place with technology, lots of resources to help students to think. Learning to think, learning how to search, learning to evaluate, search engines, databases, creating projects. It's all about the thinking, which will help you in any area of your life.
The construction would also add classrooms at Hillside and Burnett Hill. All of the work offers more flexibility for reducing the school's crowding. The concern is that in a few short years, art, music, and world language curriculum and instruction could suffer.
During the worst times, when we're really at 100% capacity, we have no other choice but to put elementary art or music on a cart to capture a classroom. The teacher literally gets an AV cart that's used to put an overhead projector on, and they stack whatever they can on that and roll it from classroom to classroom. What it means is that you're limited by the size of what the cart can hold. Your teacher's a nomad rolling from room to room to room. What is best in elementary education is to have dedicated art rooms and music rooms where children come for instruction. For instance, in a music classroom, drums, guitars are around the wall, teacher has full access to sound equipment and to pianos and auto harps. The same thing in art. When you see a public education art classroom, it's stacked to the ceiling with supplies. We might do charcoal today, we might go to another wall and do 3-dimensional clay tomorrow, and we might use the kiln in the back of the room. Art on a cart is mostly paper and pencil. So do we limit children's choices by crowding schools and taking out their music and art specials out of their rooms? Absolutely. It hurts elementary education.
What's the solution? 24 cents a day.
To maintain the excellence, we really would like the voters to come out and make themselves fully informed about this referendum, and then make their own decision. But like so many times in the past, Livingston residents have been very supportive of doing the right thing at the right time for the children of Livingston. This special election on March 12th is the right thing at the right time for Livingston Public Schools.